Temp check. What kind of summer are we having this year? A family road trip summer? A beach bum summer? Or a wake me up when the sun sets summer? With Instacart, choose your own adventure and skip the shopping side quests. Where available, you can get ice cream delivered to your hotel, sunscreen to the pool, or cold brew to your bed. Well, door, in as fast as 30 minutes. Wherever you find yourself this summer, you can get the goods. Download Instacart for free delivery on your first 3 orders. Offer valid for a limited time. Minimum $10 per order. Excludes restaurants. Additional terms and fees apply.
As a person with a very deep voice, I'm hired all the time for advertising campaigns. But a deep voice doesn't sell B2B, and advertising on the wrong platform doesn't sell B2B either. That's why if you're a B2B marketer, you should use LinkedIn ads. LinkedIn has the targeting capabilities to help you reach the world's largest professional audience. That's right, over 70 million decision makers all in one place. All the big wigs, then medium wigs, also small wigs who are on the path to becoming big wigs. Okay, that's enough about wigs. LinkedIn ads allows you to focus on getting your B2B message to the right people. So, does that mean you should use ads on LinkedIn instead of hiring me, the man with the deepest voice in the world? Yes. Yes, it does. Get started today and see why LinkedIn is the place to be to be. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply.
When you want to have fun and have scratchers to scratch, there's a playful way you can do just that. Scratch with the key or acrylic nail. Scratch with the quill from a porcupine tail. Use a belt buckle from your friend Lamar. Or scratch with your pick while you play guitar. You can scratch in a bunch of different playful ways. Scratchers from the California Lottery. A little play can make your day. Please play responsibly. Must be 18 years or older to purchase, play, or claim.
Acast powers the world's best podcasts. Here's a show that we recommend.
What is The Briefing Room? It's a behind-the-scenes look at how the criminal justice system works and the lives of the people within that system.
If you love true crime, well, these are the real people who do the job every day of making sure justice is served.
Hi, I'm Detective Dave.
I'm Detective Dan. Together, we have decades of experience in local law enforcement, a profession that we think is often misunderstood.
So we're going to explore how to do it right, and we won't shy away from when it's done wrong. These are stories you'll hear nowhere else. Unique, frank, and unvarnished.
From the team that brought you Small Town Dicks, this is The Briefing Room. Episode 1 drops on August 30th.
We'll meet you in the briefing room.
Acast helps creators launch, grow, and monetize their podcasts everywhere. Acast.com.
And welcome back to Little Cuts, our weekly mini-sode where we dig into the things that we've been watching recently. I'm Terry.
And I am Mary Beth, and this week we are chatting about a sequel to one of the best remakes, Russell Crowe on a Vespa, Queers in Paris, and Valak's triumphant return.
Bum, bum, bum.
But before we talk about everything we watched this week, we're going to just make a little announcement. So we have some really cool stuff planned coming up that we can't tell you yet. And we're also very tired. And with those two things in mind, we are going to take a couple weeks off, and a couple weeks hiatus, as we get prepared for some cool stuff and give ourselves a little bit of a rest. It's spooky season. I just got back from making a movie. Things are crazy. And we just need a little bit a reset time before the rest of the year. So this is going to be our last episode for September, and we're going to be back in October.
Yep.
So enjoy that beautiful backlog, because there's a big old backlog. We just hit episode 200 on the main feed, so you have 200 episodes to re-listen to. Like 140 little cuts. There's like 340 episodes. That's disgusting when I'm now doing all of that math. There's 340 episodes of our voices that you can listen to on a backlog that you could also recommend to your friends if you
so desire.
you so desire.
And it would be really cool to come back in October to maybe another review or two, because it's been a moment.
Please.
Not to sound desperate, but it's been a moment.
So we appreciate you all for being so supportive. It's just been a crazy couple of months, as it's always crazy over here. We always are doing crazy shit, and we do really good job balancing it. But I think we deserve a little bit of a break.
Yeah, and we've kind of like, we had a decent backlog, we've run out of it, so it's just we need some time to recoup. And
just give ourselves some grace too. We're all just doing our best out here in this nuts ass world that's literally on fire. Ass. But so we appreciate all of you. Patreon will also be back.
We'll be relaunching again in October, so yeah. I know you can't sign up yet because it's paused. So if you are planning on supporting us, just wait, and in October we'll be opening it back up and enjoying all the fun that will come with it.
Yay! Whew. On that note, let's talk about a sequel to one of the best remakes. I'm very excited to hear what this is, because I don't actually.
Okay. Yeah, I've talked about it, I think, maybe a couple times, but I am doing a podcast with Joe called Sexy and Surreal. It's on the Anatomy of a Scream podcast network, and we are going through the filmographies of Cronenberg and Lynch back to back, going through their stuff. And so we're doing a season release because, again, Joe has like 1.5 million podcasts, and I don't know how he does it, because it's exhausting just keeping up with this one and then doing other ones, like, other episodes. So, but we're releasing it in seasons. So we just recorded an episode on The Fly. And so I was like, you know what? I have never seen The Fly 2.
Oh my god, I totally forgot you were texting me about this.
You got an Ambien that I don't even.
You just got Ambien.
You got Ambien. You got Ambien.
Oh, and I meant to respond to that, but I also had imbibed, and I passed out.
I don't exactly remember what I wrote. I don't even know if it made any sense.
Thought, as I'm watching The Fly 2, this is like when Musk took over Twitter and made it feel cheap and terrible.
Okay.
Followed by me asking you about puppy play. So, really awesome. We have an incredible, our text conversation's incredible. But anyway, Fly 2.
Yes, okay. So I watched The Fly 2, and I had heard it's not great. And
okay.
I can confirm that it's not great. And I think the problem is necessarily that you're going from arguably one of the best remakes of all time, and probably one of my favorite. Like, after this watch, I do think it might be my favorite remake of all time that I've seen. And so you're going from a Cronenberg perfect movie to something that looks like a Roger Corman film. And there's nothing wrong with the Roger Corman film, but you're going from the apex of remakes to basically special effects that look like they belonged in Humanoids from the Deep, and that kind of ilk of a film. And it's directed by Chris Wallace, who did the effects on The Fly, and he also came up through Roger Corman's school of learning to do things on the fly. Not intentional, but I'll take it. And so The Fly 2 picks up kind of where the first Fly ends. We have Veronica giving birth to her baby and then dying in childbirth.
Oh.
Because, got to get rid of the mother. And so she births this, like, insect pouch, and there's a perfectly natural baby inside of the insect pouch, but the baby is aging really fast, and so by the time he is 5 years old, he is in a 25-year-old body of Eric Stoltz, who is coming off of being fired from Back to the Future because he was too intense, and he sure brings that intensity to this role. And he is basically kind of a prisoner for the Bartok Corporation, which is the corporation that his father worked for, that is mentioned briefly in the first film. And so the guy Bartok that runs the Bartok industry is acting as if he's like his dad, sort of, but he's like monitoring him, and he really wants to finish what the kid what's his name wants to finish what Martin Brundle's father, Seth Brundle, started with the teleporters. And because Martin is very smart and he is growing super fast, he has him continue where his father left off with his untimely death. This isn't a bad movie, but it is a bad movie when you compare it to The Fly. So the effects look really bad.
Yeah, the pictures I'm seeing aren't like, they're not bad, but it's not The Fly. It's
not The Fly. It's not The Fly.
No.
And I think that if this was like not a Fly movie, if it was just like some, random 1980s B movie creature feature,
yeah,
people would be a little bit more forgiving to it, because it's not a terrible film. It's just
it doesn't hold up. You can't hold up to, yeah, exactly.
And when he transforms into a fly, he looks like, I don't know, he looks like some kind of creature that has come out of, do you see it?
Yeah, like with all the teeth.
Yeah, that's his fly
it's
persona.
just like not fly-y.
No, it kind of reminds me of the gargoyles in the Tales from the Dark Side movie.
Oh, yeah.
So like it's not bad.
Okay.
It's not The Fly. And so like I enjoyed it for what it was. Eric Stoltz is actually really decent in it. It has Princess Vespa, the actress that played Princess Vespa in Spaceballs, is in it.
Oh, great.
Did you hear that?
I did in fact.
So yeah, as long as you're going in with the expectation that this is not a David Cronenberg movie and is just a cheesy B movie horror film from the 80s with like okay special effects, you might enjoy it. I had fun. It just wasn't great.
Good to know.
Yeah.
I forgot that there was a second Fly movie, so.
There is, and it's longer than the first one.
Okay. Sure.
And like the first one is perfectly paced, and this one is an hour and 44 minutes, and you can definitely feel some of those 44 minutes. But yeah. So that's The Fly 2. Not the greatest, but here we are. Let's talk about Valak's Return.
So, Valak's Return. The Nun II is, as of the episode dropping, is out in theaters. The embargo is up. And I wanted to just share a little bit about it because I saw it at a press screening. And while I didn't totally love it, I do appreciate what it's doing. So, I liked the first Nun. I know what it is. It can't be weird, conjuring money grab, but Bonnie Aarons gets to be scary. And so, also pay her fucking check for using her likeness and everything. Seriously. You fucking corporate greedy monsters. Anyway, just had to slide that one in there. So Akela Cooper wrote The Nun II. And Michael Chavs, who directed The Curse of La Llorona and the third Conjuring movie, directed this one. So do with that information what you will. And basically we're picking up where it's a couple years after the events of the first one, and Sister Irene, Tassa Farmiga, the Farmiga family universe, her sister Vera Farmiga plays Lorraine Warren, for those of you who don't know. She basically is trying to live her quiet, peaceful nun life, and then is summoned to fight Valak again, and has to find ancient relics and fight evil again. Basic setup. Basic religious horror setup. And so what I did really like about this movie is, one, Akela Cooper knows how to write like a scare / a set piece. Like really, There's some incredible set pieces in this movie, some incredible moments that are really cool, really nuts. The problem is that like it feels, and I've been saying this a lot recently, and I feel like I'm sounding like a broken record, but I honestly feel like it's kind of appropriate for a lot of movies, is that they just feel like a bunch of set pieces that are barely strung together. It just feels so much like these movies just want to have these cool moments without trying to have a better connective tissue. And like, I'll give Akela Cooper some credit. She tried to do some stuff here. Like, it's just Sister Irene and Storm Reed's character, who's another nun, that are fighting the demon. So there's no priests, which is great. You know what I mean? Like, it's pretty cool because it's women and nuns, just nuns fighting the nun. Great. Like, that's cool. It kind of subverts these ideas of power dynamics in the church in a really interesting way. It tries to do some stuff with race, but it really fumbles that a little bit. So I'm a little bit bummed about that. But like, I appreciate them trying to kind of like have a conversation about race in this movie. I think, but here's the problem. It's such fucking Catholic propaganda. It's just like, and it's getting worse with each movie, it feels like. And this one just very much felt like Jesus will set you free. And like, look, it just fucking annoys the shit out of me. You like, I don't know. It's just, I'm so bored of that.
Yeah.
It's look, I knew that I was going into this movie, you know, like it's called The Nun II. It's the Conjuring universe. Like I knew what to expect, and I'm still annoyed by it. So if you were annoyed by that, it's not going to get any better. It's actually much worse in this one. So like, if you don't want to deal with that, then just skip it. But it's got some fun moments. I think it's too long. I think it drags, but I think there are some really interesting set pieces. I think I've seen a lot of people really enjoy it, so like maybe I'm just a hater at this point, like, but you know, I was expecting a little bit more, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But
I get that.
like they expanded the scope a lot more, which I appreciate, and like I saw what they were trying to do. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to really like the first film. I liked the atmosphere. I liked the location. I loved the kind of hammer horror throws that it does. I found it kind of boring.
Then you'll find this one boring too, I think.
Yeah. I just, like with the first one, it just surprises me how a movie in which Thaisa spits the blood of Christ into a demon's face is boring. But I mean, that's where we're at.
This is, I think, what happens when you try to take a character that was kind of like thrown in for some like spice into a Conjuring movie, and then you're like, oh shit, we need to make a whole mythos for it.
But do you?
Like, we don't have to do that. Like, we just don't. And like, look, again, I'm all about Bonnie Aarons getting that work, but I also don't think it's necessary. But like, whatever. I mean, they're fun. Like, I thought The Nun was fun, but it was because I was in grad school and I just was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. I appreciate how stupid this is. Like, this is ridiculous. And I think The Nun II could have been even more ridiculous. I think I was actually expecting it to be a little bit more ridiculous because Kayla Cooper was involved in it. But, and again, I'm talking about it. I know we tend not to try to talk badly about movies, but like, this is a huge movie with a massive budget that's probably going to make a lot of money at the box office. So I don't feel as bad giving a poor review of this one.
Yeah.
And like, again, this is just my opinion. Use it how you will. And yeah, so that's The Nun II. I am not concerned about its performance at the box office. I am sure it is probably going to do very well. It's one of like the highest grossing horror movies of all time, which is fucking hysterical. Like, goddamn, these Catholic, I mean, this is why we keep getting, I've been thinking about this a lot recently because of another movie I watched this week, which we'll get to. Religious horror. These fucking Catholics be ruling the world and watching these horror movies, and that's why they keep doing so well. I'm like, I'm so sick of this shit. But the Catholics aren't, so you know what? Praise be, I guess. I don't know.
Well, and I do think that now is like the time for religious horror because I feel as if our country is going back to like the 80s in which satanic panic was like a thing, and so it makes sense to me that all of a sudden there's religious horror everywhere and it's doing well because again we are having people basically calling queer people in league with Satan, which hail Satan. But like I feel as if like we are going to be seeing a lot of religious horror because of the way things are right now.
What, fart?
I would not be surprised. Yeah.
What?
Same.
Fart. But yeah, so that's The Nun. Do with it what you will. Queers in Paris, though, that sounds like more fun.
It is a lot of fun. Okay, so I talked about the first season of Heartstopper way back when Heartstopper first premiered last year on Netflix.
Yes.
The second season is out now. I had requested screeners. I got them, and then I could not watch them because life was in the fast lane and I did not have time to watch it. So I finally, now that it's out and everyone is able to watch it, I finally this last weekend sat down and binged the entire second season, which they're 30-minute episodes. There's 8 of them. Netflix.
Netflix. Okay, cool.
So the first season is about Charlie, an out gay kid that spent the last year being publicly bullied while also having a down low boyfriend that was macking on him in private and then distancing himself from him in public. And so it created like this really bad self-esteem issue for Charlie. And then Charlie discovers he gets set next to Nick, who is a rugby player, exact opposite of him, it seems. And they sort of start a furtive friendship that blossoms into something more. And the first season is sort of about them kind of Charlie navigating the fact that he just left one guy that was kind of sexually assaults him in a very TV-14 way, kisses him like when he's not asking for it. So it's not like, we're not talking about like rape or anything, but we are talking about he is putting himself on him, and he is like, I don't want this, and he is. So we have that, as well as the kid is on the down low and is rude to Charlie in public, and now he has this other new kind of secret boyfriend who is not out, who's trying to figure out his own sexuality as well. And so that's the first season. And in the second season, I'm not going to really dig into too much spoilers, but the second season is really about Nick, the rugby player's coming out as bi and trying to navigate the uncomfortable feelings of having to come out to everyone constantly, while also like fearful that things are going to change when you do. And so the second season is sort of about their relationship going to the next step, as well as Nick trying to come out. And they go to Paris, which is why I said Queers in Paris. And what I love about the second season is that it's so gay. It's so queer, I should say. Not necessarily just gay. It's so queer. It widens the band of what the kind of characters we're talking about. In the first season, we have, there's a trans woman that had previously gone to the male school because it's England. They're in gendered schools. And so in her next year, when she transitioned, she's now in a female school. So we're following her relationship. There's a kid that in the very first season doesn't seem very interested in anyone. And in this season, he is sort of discovering that maybe he's ace and what that means for him. So we're seeing like a wide spectrum of queerness in teens and trying to come to terms with their own sexuality. And it's a delightful second season. It's very easy to binge. It's 8 episodes, 30 minutes each. And it is just like a warm hug, and I love it so much. So that's Heartstopper season 2.
I love that it's like so queer. I love that.
It's so queer. It's almost like everyone is like, is there anyone that's not queer? Because like by the second season, there's a lot more queerness, and I think it's fantastic. I want to see more of it, more of that kind of thing. And it's already been renewed for a 3rd season, and I love it.
That's so good.
So go watch
that
it.
Makes me happy. Like, look, fuck Netflix for a lot of reasons, especially in regards to these strikes and how little they care about people and the necessity of these people to make the successful shows and films that are on their platform. Fuck you for thinking AI could create something like Heartbreaker, Heartstopper. I'm such a dick. I literally just forgot what is fucking wrong with me. Sorry. Heartstopper. Like, so I'm just saying that now. Fuck Netflix. But also, like, Netflix has things like it's like, it's so hard because it's like Netflix is inherently gross, and it's like in the way it's operating and the ways that these streaming services have treated a lot of this IP, but then also Netflix is putting out stuff like this, so it's like it is such a strange time to be a person who really enjoys media and like the intricacies of media. Like, goddamn, it's so complicated. But like, I'm glad that this show has a platform and like people can see it, because Netflix is a massive platform. Like,
and it's based on a graphic novel written by Alice Osman. I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name, and she is the creator of this show. She writes every episode. So it's someone that got her start writing graphic novels. I think the 5th volume is coming out in October, and also writing the series. And so I think that's pretty fucking cool.
Awesome.
So Heartstopper, highly recommended. But let's swing back into the realm of Alex and talk about Russell Crowe and a Vespa, which, funnily enough, I also watched this weekend, unknowing that you had also watched it. What are we talking about?
The Pope's Exorcist. It is on Netflix, and I have been dying to watch this fucking movie. I did not see it in theaters. I did not care enough to see it in theaters, but it is on Netflix. Steve pulled up Netflix, and I said, we have to watch this soon, because I heard it's kind of fun. Russell Crowe's on a Vespa. Like, I have to know what it's all about. So, on Saturday night, we got home from a barbecue at my parents' house, got pretty high, and put on The Pope's Exorcist. And let me tell you, this movie is way more fun than people give it credit for. It is so fun. I mean, look, less Catholic Church propaganda, but still Catholic Church propaganda. Like, it's not... It just so everyone knows, just so like we just establish that baseline here, based on an actual exorcist, the actual chief exorcist from the Vatican, Gabriel Amorth, who died not that long ago. I was like, Jesus, he was like 95. He was old as fuck. Good for him.
He was old as fuck. There was a 2017 documentary film by William Friedkin about him as well.
That's right. I fucking forgot about that.
The Devil and Father Mort.
So
he has some weird view. He had some weird views. Like
yeah, he's a weird old
satanic.
Like weird old exorcist from Italy. Like of course he's fucking weird. Duh.
Yeah.
And this movie takes like the Conjuring approach, which is both good and probably not great in terms of like taking real people and making them out to seem like superheroes when like they are just flawed people. But they basically take the real life of this exorcist and then like put it into a essentially fictionalized exorcism. And Russell Crowe is fucking killing it in this role. He is just like having the best time hamming it up as this Italian exorcist who's just like kind of weird and like rides on a Vespa with red socks and is like he's like drunk half the time and he's just like super eccentric and weird. And Russell Crowe is just
accent
like
veers into Romanian at a couple times.
Oh, like, accent's insane. English and Italian, who knows what accent we're doing. But, like, he is just, like, living his best life in this movie. Mm-hmm. And I love that for him. Alex Esso, who was in Starry Eyes, is the mom in this movie. Love that she's getting big roles in movies like this. And it's like, yeah.
She was also in, Midnight. It's funny, you say Starry Eyes. I've never seen Starry Eyes, but she was in Midnight Mass, like Flanagan's work as well.
Oh, she is. That's right. I always forget.
She was Wendy Torrance in Doctor Sleep.
That's right. I forgot that she was. So she's been on a lot of stuff, and I'm just a liar. I just am not used to seeing her in a lot of stuff. Oh, she's so good in Trim Season. Everyone's seen Trim Season when that comes out. But basically, he goes to Spain, where this family has moved into an old abbey that their father inherited. And again, this movie is like camp. Like, it's so ridiculous. Like, everything about this movie is like makes no sense. So like, don't ask questions. But
directed by the guy that did Overlord. So if you want to like understand like the campy kind of feeling of the movie.
And he goes to the kid. This mom and her two kids moved to Spain. They're American. They moved to Spain. The dad has died. They move into this abbey that they're going to replace. But the little kid gets possessed by a terrifying demon voiced by Ralph Ineson, which is incredible. And he must come to Spain to rid the home of this evil and then also discover how ancient, scary evil this thing is. You know, like, again, it's very much follows the usual, like, religious horror exorcism movie tropes, but the thing that's so fun is, one, it can't be a shit, and two, Russell Crowe is just chewing up the scenery like nobody's business, so, like, it's fun. It feels a little bit different because he's having so much fun and it's not taking itself super seriously. Religious horror takes itself so seriously, and this movie is not, for the most part, and I respect the hell out of that.
He even gets like an Indiana Jones moment.
Oh my god, yes, he does!
I was like, I was thinking in my head before you wrote down him on a Vespa, I was thinking like The Conjuring meets Indiana Jones, because that is what some of this movie feels like in terms of the character and digging into the old abbey and like discovering ancient secrets. Like, it reminded me of Indiana Jones, and I really adored that. I will say that I was in for quite a surprise when I watched this movie, because I literally knew nothing about it except that people said it's a lot of fun and campy, and that it's called The Pope's Exorcist. I literally thought the Pope was going to be doing an exorcism of someone was going to be doing an exorcism of the Pope, is what I thought this movie was about. And so when it has nothing to do with that, I was like, what is this movie? Because I really thought Russell Crowe was going to be performing an exorcism on the Pope based on the name.
Unfortunately, no.
Maybe that'll be in the sequel.
Maybe. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with this movie. It's definitely silly, but like, it knows it's silly, which I appreciate. It's not trying to be like, it's still that Catholic Church propaganda, but it's not the super self-serious Catholic Church propaganda. It's still propaganda, but that'll give you an idea of what to expect. God still prevails, but, you know, that's fine.
Of course he does.
I guess. But yeah, so It's if you have Netflix and you've been wondering if it's worth watching, it definitely is. It's fun. It's a good time.
It's worth a night of entertainment.
It is worth, yeah. Oh, yeah. Why am I watching so much religion? There's just too much fucking religious horror. Ugh. On that note, like we said at the beginning, this is our last episode for a couple weeks, both Little Cuts and main feed. We'll still be on Twitter. We'll still be everywhere you can find us. We're just going to be putting together that backlog and giving ourselves a little bit of a break while also just trying to get everything prepped for some really cool stuff coming up in October. So get fucking pumped, everybody.
Oh, and maybe go pre-order the Ginger Snaps trilogy of films from Second Sight.
Yeah, do it,
because we have an audio commentary on the first Ginger Snaps in there. So maybe go check that out.
Audio commentary, goddesses.
It's our third one, right?
Our third one. Paranormal Activity, Attack of the Demons, and now Ginger Snaps. It's neat. It's fun.
It's
I
really
don't know if anyone actually ever listens to them, but I like to...
I don't either.
It's like, here's the thing. Part of me doesn't want them to, because I just like am inherently embarrassed by the sound of my own voice, but I just like the idea that's there, you know? Just like the comfort.
Yeah. It feels pretty cool.
It does feel cool.
Yeah. I don't know if people are actually listening to it. And I get, like you said, I don't know if I necessarily want people to listen to it.
I don't really want to know, honestly. Like, I don't need to know but I'm glad it's there.
Me too.
But y'all, you've heard from us. We want to hear from you. Did you watch anything that we watched this week and have some thoughts? Do you have any suggestions for guests you want to see on the show in the future, of movies you want us to see us cover? You can send us an email at scarredforlifepodcast@gmail.com, or you can reach out directly to us on Twitter. I am at MB McAndrews.
And I'm a Gaily Dreadful, although I've been spending more time on Blue Sky than I am on Twitter. So you can follow me there as well.
And of course, you can follow the podcast on Twitter at Scarred Podcast. We are also on Blue Sky at Scarred for Life Podcast, and also at Scarred for Life Podcast on Instagram, if you want to follow us on those platforms as well.
And don't forget to review, rate, and subscribe. If you're listening to this on release, you really can't help support us through Patreon because it's paused for right now. But when we're back in October, please do help support us. That means a ton. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you to Eric Power for our artwork. Thank you to Sean Keller for our music. And thank you to each and every one of you for listening. Please stay safe out there, but most importantly, stay creepy.
Won't somebody please think of the children? Won't somebody please think of the children? Somebody please think of the children!
When you pick up some scratches, cause you want a fun break, the playful way you scratch is the next choice you should make. You can make your dog's leg kick and scratch with that. You could even grab a laser pointer and use your cat. You can build yourself a homemade scratching machine, or use a piece from your chess set. Go ahead, grab the queen. Scratch like a DJ with your record player. A cactus could scratch off that scratchable layer. Cause when it comes to scratching, there's a million playful ways. Thanks to scratchers from the California Lottery, a little play can make your day.
Please play responsibly. Must be 18 years or older to purchase, play, or claim.
As a person with a very deep voice, I'm hired all the time for advertising campaigns. But a deep voice doesn't sell B2B, and advertising on the wrong platform doesn't sell B2B either. That's why if you're a B2B marketer, you should use LinkedIn ads. LinkedIn has the targeting capabilities to help you reach the world's largest professional audience. That's right, over 70 million decision makers all in one place. All the big wigs, then medium wigs. Also small wigs who are on the path to becoming big wigs. Okay, that's enough about wigs. LinkedIn ads allows you to focus on getting your B2B message to the right people. So, does that mean you should use ads on LinkedIn instead of hiring me, the man with the deepest voice in the world? Yes. Yes, it does. Get started today and see why LinkedIn is the place to be to be. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply.
Acast powers the world's best podcasts. Here's a show that we recommend.
What is The Briefing Room?
It's a behind-the-scenes look at how the criminal justice system works and the lives of the people within that system.
If you love true crime, well, these are the real people who do the job every day of making sure justice is served.
Hi, I'm Detective Dave.
I'm Detective Dan. Together, we have decades of experience in local law enforcement, a profession that we think is often misunderstood.
So we're going to explore how to do it right, and we won't shy away from when it's done wrong. These are stories you'll hear nowhere else. Unique, frank, and unvarnished.
From the team that brought you Small Town Dicks, this is The Briefing Room. Episode 1 drops on August 30th. We'll meet you in the briefing room.
Acast helps creators launch, grow, and monetize their podcasts everywhere. Acast.com.